Luke is your classic, quiet, nerdy artist, handsome, though he's too shy to see it. At just 19, he's a freshman art student, more comfortable in his sketchbooks than in the spotlight. Introverted and slender, Luke is thoughtful and sensitive, preferring the quiet corners of the world. Unlike his siblings, Luke takes after his mother's Italian family with sultry Mediterranean features, dark hair, olive-toned skin, and soulful brown eyes. And then there's Ryan, everything Luke is not. Ryan, Luke's older brother, Bobby's best friend, is 8 years older, confident, magnetic, and built like the football star he is. Tall, muscular, with blonde hair and piercing blue eyes, Ryan looks like he's stepped out of a magazine. After graduating high school, Ryan spent years working to support himself before earning a football scholarship to college, a stark contrast to Luke's more privileged upbringing. With his powerful physique, extroverted charm, and easy smile, Ryan is the kind of man who commands attention wherever he goes, and Luke, well, he's always been content to admire Ryan from afar, until now. A surprising moment in Luke's bedroom and an intimate family dinner gave way to a midnight pool encounter. In the stillness of that night, their worlds collided in a way Luke could never have imagined. For the first time, Luke is left questioning everything. Could Ryan, the man who seemed so far out of reach, feel the same way about him? Now, Luke's story continues.
The cool water rippled around me, sparkling under the cabana's faint glow. Ryan splashed water in my direction, his mischievous grin igniting the night with its playful charm.
Come on, loosen up,
he teased, his voice light, teasing, and impossibly magnetic. Another wave of water hit me before I could even think of a response. I retaliated, a weak splash that made him laugh even harder. His laughter was infectious, carrying across the garden like a melody. For a fleeting moment, the world felt perfect, light, carefree, and impossibly surreal. This is the first time I've ever been in the pool with him. Except for the time he looked at my sketches, this is the first time I've shared anything that felt even remotely personal. But this was different. It was playful. My heart thudded as the realization hit me. This is the most we've ever interacted. The most he's ever looked at me, not through me or past me, but at me. I can't believe this is happening. Ryan moved closer, his chuckles softening as he reached out to splash me again. My stomach flipped as I watched the water ripple between us, the distance between his body and mine shrinking by the second. Then it happened. Beneath the surface, his hand brushed against mine. It was fleeting, so brief I almost convinced myself I imagined it. I told myself it was nothing, just an accident, the natural chaos of movement in water. But before I could let the thought settle, it happened again. This time his pinky lingered. My breath caught in my throat. His touch was light but purposeful, his pinky sliding softly against mine, sending a jolt through my arm and straight to my chest. My heart raced wildly, pounding so loudly I thought he might hear it. I didn't move away. Neither did he. Slowly, his pinky hooked onto mine, tentative but deliberate. My mind spun. Was this real? Could this actually be happening? Our hands linked beneath the water, fingers intertwining in a silent declaration. The air seemed to thicken around us, the playful energy evaporating, replaced by something immense. The quiet intensity of it all felt almost suffocating, yet I didn't want it to stop. Blood rushed to my face and my mind, a chaotic storm of disbelief and exhilaration. Ryan's grin softened, his expression warm, open, and so different from the confident, teasing demeanor he usually wore. I couldn't smile back. I was frozen, caught between awe and disbelief. The weight of his touch and the shift in his expression rooted me to the spot. My body responded involuntarily, an excitement surging through me. It almost hurt. Then came the sweet words.
"You're different, Luke, in a good way,"
he whispered. His voice was soft, almost swallowed by the gentle lapping of the water, but those words sent a shiver of disbelief down my spine. I swallowed hard, my breath hitching as his fingers tightened around mine. I wanted to speak, to respond, but my voice was lost, swept away by the moment. I could only look at him, trying to process the impossibility of what was unfolding. His touch firm yet tender, grounding me in a moment that felt both impossible and undeniably real. He began to pull me closer. The water swirled around me, cool and alive, yet I barely noticed it. Every nerve in my body was tuned to him, his presence, his touch. Our bodies brushed together, a fleeting contact that sent a jolt through me. It was brief but exhilarating. My heart hammered in my chest as I felt pressed against me, unmistakable, undeniable. The kinetic energy of the bump subtly pushed us apart, but the sensation lingered, searing itself into my mind. I could hardly breathe. My thoughts scrambled, a storm of disbelief and wonder. I've never felt before. Never. And this was him. Is all of this real? I thought, my mind spinning as I tried to process the enormity of the moment, drifting gently apart. After the brief, electrifying union of our bodies, we found ourselves scarcely 2 feet away from each other. His gaze captured mine with such unwavering intensity that looking away felt unthinkable. Slowly, his hand extended to my back, the warmth of his touch steady and sure, drawing me closer with a subtle pull. The space between us melted away until only a few inches remained, charged with an unspoken connection. His face approaching mine, time seemed to stretch and fold in on itself, the world narrowing to just him. His head tilted slightly, and I saw his eyes flutter shut. I could feel his breath now, warm and soft against my lips. My chest tightened. I didn't resist. I couldn't. Every instinct in me urged me to stay right there, to surrender to the moment. To him. Then his mouth met mine. It was warm, firm, and intoxicating. My first kiss, and it was with him. My entire world collapsed and rebuilt itself in the span of that single connection. This cool water lapped around us, but I barely registered it. All I could feel was the heat of his body, the pressure of his lips, gentle yet certain, like he had always known this moment would come. Again, his hand pressed against my back, urging me even closer. Our bodies met once more, but this time the touch was soft, deliberate. There was no accidental bump, no push or pull from the water's momentum. This time there was no space between us. The firm pressure against me was undeniable. Oh my, pressed against him in a way that felt terrifyingly exposed, yet utterly right. It was too much, wonderful and overwhelming. My chest felt tight and my head spun as if the entire universe had collapsed into this one incredible moment. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the sensations, the gentle give of his lips, the heat radiating from his body, the weight of his hand anchoring me to him. For the first time in my life, I wasn't imagining it. This was real. All of it was real. And it was him. And then crash. The sharp jarring sound of glass shattering pierced the stillness, like a rock hurled through a fragile, perfect window. The delicate world we had created in the quiet intimacy of the pool splintered into 1,000 irretrievable pieces. I jerked away instinctively, startled and disoriented as if the sound had physically struck me. My chest tightened, the weight of reality crashing back down like a tidal wave. "Oh no," I uttered faintly, my voice trembling as my mind scrambled to catch up. The warmth of Ryan's touch still lingered on my skin, but the moment was already gone, replaced by cold panic. Ryan's brows furrowed, his expression shifting from tender to concerned.
What was that?"
he asked, his voice low but steady. The answer hit me like a lightning bolt. The milk," I stammered, my heart racing for an entirely different reason now. I left it out. Mr. Whiskers. He's obsessed with milk. He must have knocked it over. Panic surged through me, sharp and suffocating. The noise could wake the house, and the thought of anyone finding us out here, finding me out here, like this, was unbearable. I've got to go, I said, my words rushed and desperate. I pulled away, the loss of his warmth cutting through me like a chill.
"Luke,"
Ryan started, his voice soft, almost pleading, but I couldn't stop. I couldn't let myself stay. Water streamed off me as I climbed out of the pool, my movements frantic and uncoordinated. The cool night air bit at my wet skin, but I hardly felt it. My mind was a storm of fear and regret, chasing itself in endless loops. I grabbed my clothes, fumbling as I yanked my t-shirt and shorts over my dripping body, not even bothering to dry off properly. My hands trembled as I struggled with the fabric, the weight of Ryan's eyes on me, making every movement feel clumsy and exposed. Without another word, I turned and dashed back toward the house, my bare feet slapping against the garden path. I didn't dare look back. I couldn't. The glass-shattering crash still echoed in my ears. Not just a sound, but a rupture in the perfect, impossible moment we had shared. Behind me, the pool felt a world away, and Ryan was left standing there, the broken pieces of our connection floating in the water around him. In the kitchen, shards of glass glinted under the soft overhead light. The milk had pooled on the floor and Mr. Whiskers meowed innocently from the counter, licking his paw. I grabbed the mop, frantically trying to clean up the mess before anyone noticed.
Luke?
Dad's voice startled me from behind. I turned, my heart leaping into my throat. He stood in the doorway, his face groggy but concerned.
I hear something break?
He said, eyeing the mop in my hands. Yeah, I stammered, struggling to sound casual. I couldn't sleep, so I came down for some milk. I guess I forgot to put it away, and Mr. Whiskers knocked it over. Dad's eyes narrowed slightly as he took in my damp t-shirt and shorts.
Why are you wet?
I hesitated, my mind scrambling for an explanation. I went for a swim, right? It's so hot tonight, and I thought it'd help me cool off. He sighed, running a hand through his hair.
Just make sure it's cleaned up properly for Mrs. Espinosa. She'll be here early to make breakfast.
I nodded quickly, relieved he wasn't asking more questions. Yeah, of course. I've got it under control. As I watched Dad disappear up the stairs, I let out a shaky breath. My heart was still pounding from everything that had happened. The pool, Ryan, the kiss. My lips still tingled with the memory of his, and my mind replayed every moment with an almost painful clarity. But now that perfect connection was shattered, scattered like the shards of glass on the kitchen floor. I finished cleaning up the milk, Mr. Whiskers watching me with an almost smug expression from the counter. If only you knew the chaos you caused, I thought bitterly. The house was quiet again, but my mind was anything but. I climbed the stairs carefully, each creak of the wood feeling louder in the silence. By the time I reached my room, my damp clothes clung to me like a second skin, and I didn't bother changing. I just lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of it all. What had just happened between Ryan and me, and what did it mean? Tomorrow morning breakfast would bring everyone back together. The thought filled me with dread and anticipation, all at once. Would Ryan act like nothing had happened? Should I go to breakfast? How would I even face him after running off like that? Mrs. Espinosa was in her element. As I walked into the dining room, I could hear her cheerful voice, chatting with Mom about the plans for the day while bustling around with plates of food. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and warm toast filled the air, and the clatter of dishes made the room feel alive. She greeted everyone warmly, her energy contagious as she ensured the table was perfectly stocked. Having only slept an hour or two, I came in late, of course. Everyone was already seated, halfway through their breakfasts. I tried to slip in quietly. I felt a little out of place, like I was intruding on a conversation that had already started. Mom looked up as I sat down.
Good morning, sweetheart,
She said with a soft smile, her tone casual but warm. I mumbled a quick morning and reached for some toast, trying to look as normal as possible. Inside, though, my thoughts were anything but normal. Dad wasted no time in picking up where we left off last night.
So, how is Mr. Whiskers this morning? Did he get his midnight drink?
He teased, his tone laced with humor. I forced a small smile, hoping it looked convincing. Yeah, he seemed pretty happy, I muttered, keeping my answer short. I didn't want to delve into details about the glass or the late-night swim. Dad chuckled and returned to buttering his toast, seemingly satisfied with my vague response. Across the table, Ryan was seated next to Bobby, quietly eating his toast. Bobby was animated, gesturing with his fork as he dove into one of his football stories. Ryan nodded occasionally, listening with his usual calm demeanor, but he didn't look at me, not even once. I stole a glance at him, hoping for some sign, any acknowledgement of the moment we'd shared last night. But it was like I wasn't even there. He kept his eyes on Bobby, his expression neutral, almost distant. A knot tightened in my stomach. Is he mad at me? Did I ruin everything by running off? Or was it all just a game to him, something meaningless he doesn't even care about now? The questions came in waves, each one hitting harder than the last. My chest felt heavy as my mind spiraled. I can still feel the warmth of his hand on my back, the softness of his lips on mine. But now, with him sitting there like nothing had happened, I started to doubt if any of it had even been real. I stayed silent, which wasn't unusual for me at family breakfasts, but this time the quiet felt suffocating. My thoughts were too loud, too consuming to let me join the chatter around me. I focused on my plate, picking at my food without much of an appetite. The energy in the room felt distant, like I was watching everything from behind a glass wall. As breakfast wound down, Bobby stretched back in his chair, clapping Ryan on the shoulder. "Come on, let's get moving. I need your help with the barbecue setup," he said, already halfway out of his seat. Sally followed suit, brushing crumbs off her hands as she stood. Ryan rose last, moving casually, his plate in hand. For a moment, just a moment, our eyes met. My breath caught, and the knot in my stomach tightened, bracing for I wasn't sure what. And then he winked. It was quick, barely noticeable, but it came with a subtle smile that sent a wave of relief crashing over me. It was like he'd reached across the room and said, "I see you. Last night mattered." In that single moment, my heart lit up with hope and affection for him. I swallowed hard, my face heating as I ducked my head. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed little Ellie watching me with a curious expression. She was smiling in that innocent, knowing way only an 8-year-old can. I felt my blush deepen, even though I knew she couldn't possibly understand what the wink was about. Still, it made me feel exposed, as if my thoughts were written all over my face. Excited and happy, Ellie turned to Mom, breaking the tension with a chirpy question. "When are Chrissy and Ed coming?" she asked, her excitement bubbling over. Mom smiled at her. "Just before lunch, sweetie. It'll be nice to have everyone here for the barbecue." I felt a surprising wave of relief at that. More people around meant less chance of anyone noticing the growing tension between me and Ryan. Chrissy's energy, Ed's easygoing nature, they'd fill the gaps, distract from whatever was brewing beneath the surface.
As the day begins, Luke is left with a whirlwind of emotions. Relief from Ryan's wink, uncertainty about their unspoken connection, and a growing anticipation he can't ignore. Chrissy and Ed's arrival will bring lively family energy, but with the weekend stretching ahead, Luke and Ryan are bound to find themselves alone again. The tension between them is undeniable, and it's no longer a question of if they'll act on it, it's when. In the next episode, the walls come down, and Ryan and Luke share a moment so intimate and physical, it will redefine everything they thought they knew about each other and themselves. If you're as hooked on Luke and Ryan's story as we are, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you're the first to see episode 3. It's the episode you've been waiting for. Let us know in the comments. Is Luke ready to take the leap, or will he let his fears hold him back when the moment finally arrives?